In their very own words, U.S. Supreme Court justices on overturning Roe v. Wade in a bombshell choice, the conservative majority U.S. Supreme Court on Friday overturned the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that had identified a woman's constitutional right to an abortion. The courtroom voted 54 to overturn Roe, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing separately to mention he could have upheld the Mississippi regulation at the middle of that case, which bans abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, but might now not have reversed Roe. The courtroom's 3 liberal justices dissented. Here are some excerpts from their reviews. Conservative Justice Samuel Alito, in the majority opinion, it is time to heed the Constitution and go back the issue of abortion to the humans' elected representatives. We maintain that Roe and Casey have to be overruled. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by way of any constitutional provision. Roe v. Wade identified that the proper to privateness under the U.S. Constitution protects a woman's ability to terminate her being pregnant. A ruling known as Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania v. Casey, made in 1992, reaffirmed abortion rights and prohibited legal guidelines imposing an undue burden on abortion get right of entry to. Abortion presents a profound moral query. The Constitution does not restrict the residents of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule the one's choices and go back that authority to the human beings and their elected representatives. Conservative Justice Clarence Thomas, in a concurring opinion, because the court properly applies our sizable due system precedents to reject the fabrication of a constitutional right to abortion, and due to the fact this example does not give the opportunity to reject noticeable due manner totally, I be part of the court's opinion. For that motive, in destiny cases, we need to rethink all of this court's important due process precedents, which includes Griswold, which protected the proper to contraception, Lawrence, which invalidated state laws banning sodomy, and Obergefell, which legalized homosexual marriage nationwide. Substantive due system conflicts with that textual command and has harmed our U.S. in lots of approaches. Accordingly, we ought to take away it from our jurisprudence on the earliest possibility. Conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh, in a concurring opinion, the Constitution does no longer take facets on the problem of abortion. The textual content of the Constitution does not confer with or encompass abortion. Because the Constitution is impartial on the problem of abortion, this court additionally ought to be scrupulously impartial. The 9 unelected members of this court do not possess the constitutional authority to override the democratic system and to decree either a pro-life or a pro-choice abortion coverage for all 330 million people inside the United States. To be clear, then, the court's decision these days does no longer outlaw abortion for the duration of the United States. On the contrary, the court's selection properly leaves the question of abortion for the people and their elected representatives within the democratic system. Conservative Chief Justice John Roberts, concurring in the judgment on the Mississippi law only but not overturning Roe, I would take a extra measured course. I accept as true with the court that the viability line hooked up via Roe and Casey ought to be discarded under a sincere stare decisis analysis. That line by no means made any feel. If it isn't always essential to decide greater to take away a case, then it's miles important now not to decide extra. Perhaps we aren't usually ideal in following that command, and honestly there are instances that warrant an exception. But this isn't always one in every of them. The court's choice to overrule Roe and Casey is an extreme jolt to the prison device irrespective of how you view the one's cases. A narrower decision rejecting the erroneous viability line could be markedly less unsettling, and not anything extra is wanted to decide this case. Liberal Justices Stephen Breyer, Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor, dissenting, whatever the precise scope of the approaching legal guidelines, one result of ultra-modern selection is sure, the curtailment of ladies' rights, and of their reputation as unfastened and identical citizens. No one have to be confident that this majority is accomplished with its paintings. The proper Roe and Casey recognized does no longer stand by myself.